Pressure on the Senate this week while they await the final text of a bill to fund Israel, Ukraine, and the border. Joining us right now with where Republicans currently stand, Kansas Republican Senator Roger Marshall. Good morning to you. Where do things stand?
Well, Andrew, they don't stand anywhere right now. We're no closer today on an agreement on the supplemental package than we were on October the 7th. Look, this is a very complicated four-piece riddle. But to me, the absolute biggest priority is the border. The border, the border, the border. That's what's important to us. Every day we're losing 300 Americans. Over 10 million people have crossed the border illegally in the past 3 years. There's been 1.7 million gotaways. So the rest of this riddle is not going to be solved until we have meaningful border security. If that riddle is not solved, then the Republicans are going to vote down any type of cloture for the other three pieces of this riddle, for Ukraine, for Taiwan, as well as for funding for Israel. It's the border.
And just to put it all together, I appreciate the importance of the border. There's no question that figuring out the immigration piece of the puzzle is important. But the question is and not that it's not an acute problem. Boy, is it an acute problem. But given the acuity, if you will, if that's a word, of the problem in Israel right now, in Ukraine, potentially in Taiwan in the future, is there no reason to try to separate these things?
There's every reason to separate them. It is almost scientifically impossible to get people to agree on all four of these. Even within the Democrat caucus on the Senate side, you're not going to get unanimous agreement on how to solve any one of those right now. And when you start doing something more for Israel, then you lose someone that maybe was going to support the Ukraine package and vice versa. It's virtually impossible. And that's why we offered on the Senate floor just a couple weeks ago standalone funding for Israel that, remember, every Democrat voted against it. They went to the mall, and Chuck Schumer said he wouldn't rest until there was funding for Israel. 3 hours later, we give him the opportunity, and he votes it down. Again, we're going to lose 300 Americans today that are going to die because of fentanyl poisoning. The border is a national security issue. It's not an immigration issue. It's a national security issue. It's the border.
Senator, what do you make of the House trying to tie the IRS funding to all of this?
Look, I don't care how we pay for it. I would like to pay for it. My priority is to support Israel, that this is a war for the sake of humanity, that we need to stop all type of terrorists, stop their brutality, that they're coming after us next. So that's not an issue to me on how we pay for it. I would gladly welcome my Democrat friends to come to the floor today and say, here's another way to pay for it if you'd like. I'd even consider standalone legislation to support Israel without a pay for. I think it's that big of a priority. Again, to me, it's all about priorities: the border, the border, the border, and then let's get our American hostages home safely, and then let's support Israel.
So, given sort of where things stand, how do you imagine this plays out? I mean, you just described a situation that is untenable in so many ways. For the country, it's also untenable given the various factions and the various parties. Does that nothing happen?
You know, very well. Look, and that's a great a great question. I wish the press would ask Joe Biden, why don't you want border security? Ask Chuck Schumer, why don't you support border security? That's the questions people should be asking. If they will support meaningful border security, then I think we could fix these other problems one at a time. But they're not willing to take that on. They'd rather have 10 million people cross the border illegally than fix the problem.
Senator, walk through the border package as you see it, because it's not part of the issue is the specifics of how these things get put together, the actual package, what it actually entails. Because I think it's not just saying border security. I think there's a lot of people on all sides who would like border security. It's then when you dig into the details that it gets more complicated.
Right. And you are right. Even Democrat colleagues across the aisle are coming to me saying, hey, look, we need to secure the border. Look, I think border security starts with a policy change. I've been to the border 3 times. The last time there, to a person, every Border Patrol person I talked to said, we need to change the policy. If we would change the asylum policy alone, we would decrease maybe 50%, maybe even 75% of those 10 million people that are crossing the border illegally. So changing asylum rules alone would help. And then we have to do something about the parole situation as well. President Biden has paroled over 1.5 million folks so far as well. So we need to fix parole. And then, look, we need some type of better physical security as well. More Border Patrol officers, more technology, more drug dogs, all those types of things. However we can secure the border, I would do exactly what the DHS plan laid out several years ago. Look, for probably $15–20 billion, we can secure the border. Why would we send $60–70 billion more to Ukraine when we haven't secured our own border yet? It's always, to me, about priorities. It's the border.
Hey, Senator, we got a presidential election. Unbelievable how quickly it's coming. I don't know what your current relationship is with the presumptive nominee at this point. I know he had endorsed some other individuals when you were, trying to become senator. And have you endorsed anyone yet for 2022 on the Republican side?
I have. Look, at this point in time, it appears as Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. And I'm going to say this. I have 10 million reasons why Americans should vote for President Trump. And that's the 10 million illegal border crossings, the 1.7 million gotaways is another reason. Not to mention, I guess we're at 60,000, 70,000 aliens of interest as well. Hundreds of known terrorists have crossed our border illegally. I think that Donald Trump will be the president of law and order, of security, of making our families safe again, and turning the economy around as well. I think this inflation, interest rates are just killing people back home. This Bidenomics has not worked out. So I think that Donald Trump is the person that will secure our borders and also give us a strong economy again.